Okay, if all goes according to plan, you'll be seeing this after Christmas, but before the New Year. So happy holidays, my dear viewers, and welcome back to the Neverland Book Club. Today, I'd like to make a video I haven't made in literal years on this channel. A TBR. I thought they might be a bit redundant, talking about books I intend to read just to discuss the same titles again in a reading wrap-up, but I'm reframing my perspective at the moment. So this is for accountability, this is for consistency, and to be transparent, this is also for content. So without further ado, let's get into the 10 books I am determined to get off my TBR ASAP. I'd like y'all to hold me accountable too. Ask me if I've read these. Be my reading buddies, and if you feel so inclined to read along with me for any of these titles, of course, feel free. Okay, I'd like to start off the new year with a sense of accomplishment, something to just jumpstart my return to this channel and my return to just my normal reading routine. And yes, I did do a lot of reading this past year. It just wasn't as much as my usual goal, but I'll get over it eventually. Just never mind me. Anyway, the best hack to reading more and reading faster is reading shorter books. So I'd like to start off the new year with Among the Burning Flowers by Samantha Shannon, a book I stumbled upon before its release date, and a signed copy, no less. At just 200 pages, this is a great book to reawaken old habits. This bite-sized fantasy novella is a prequel to a world I've already come to absolutely love in both Priory of the Orange Tree and Day of Fallen Night. Samantha Shannon has this ability to convey scale through intimacy, weighing every character's choice with real consequence. Being another prequel, though, I'm worried we'll only be going back in time from the events of Priory and not moving forward, but I'm here for the ride, nonetheless. Next, we have another author that has never let me down yet. Daisy Darker by Alice Feeney. When I think of Feeney and the emotions she embodies in her readers, I think of the word claustrophobic, unease, goosebumps, and cinnamon twists. Her flavor of psychological thriller is different than other authors. Her use of the unreliable narrator isn't just a trope or a means to a plotted end. She has a way of creating atmospheres thick with uncertainty, and for some reason I just eat that up. From what I gather, Daisy Darker is supposed to have a more gothic tone with an emphasis on psychological discomfort, so I can't wait for this one. It's been on my shelf for so long now, since its release, just taking a backseat to other titles, and I know once I read it, I'm gonna regret not having picked it up sooner, so I would like to get to this one. All right, moving quickly through these, we have Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid next. Taylor Jenkins Reid is one of those authors that comes to mind when I think about characters that have stuck with me. And I bought this book without knowing anything about the story or the genre. It's just because I know if she wrote it, I'll read it and I'll likely enjoy it. So hopefully future me doesn't look like a fool in saying what I've just said. I know Reid has a pattern of writing characters who are highly ambitious, driving the plot forward through outer conflict, while simultaneously learning intimate details about themselves that makes them all the more relatable. This makes me believe Reid can balance that plot versus character-driven line, using both equally to create a more memorable experience in your mind. Okay, so the next book is a book I know I'll need to be in the right headspace for, but I'm done making that excuse. I know this book is going to be therapy for me. Considering the fact that reading for me is a form of therapy, writing being an even more effective form, I'm particularly drawn to writers I strive to embody. Rebecca Ross's style is lyrical, her prose just the right shade of lavender without drenching you in a flowery perfume. Her stories feel intimate and sacred. I fell in love with her writing with Divine Rivals and Ruthless Vows, and my understanding is Wild Reverence is along those same lines in that it's a YA fantasy romance, just heavier on the fantasy. With her duology, we saw complex characters navigating a world with so much outer conflict, it drove most of the plot forward without compromising pacing and character development. So I'm curious to see if Wild Reverence will be more on the character side of things, knowing the love interests are a goddess and a human man. I can't wait. Like, just... Sorry, I just got lost in the back cover just a little bit. Anyway, okay. After all that fantasy, I'm sure I'll be craving something a bit more spooky. And so I intend to read The Possession of Alba Diaz by Isabel Cañas. If you've watched the channel for long, you know how much I love this woman's specific horror romance style. Her slight taboo characters and watching them fall for one another despite the literal hellish monsters trying to tear them apart. Now, I'm not super excited about the title. It sounds like the kind of spooky I'm not all that into, but I trust Cañas. I know she'll take my hand and guide me through a story that'll both scare me and make me smile all at once. This gothic horror is also considered historical fiction with heavy elements of faith and culture, all indicative of Cañas's novels. She doesn't sugarcoat the patriarchal histories her female characters find themselves in, but uses it as a mirror to hold up to the true horrors of society. I can't wait for the tension, the anger, the fear, the raw emotions and anxieties this book is going to put me through, and that my cat is going through at the moment. I promise though, I'm having fun. So is he. I'm exactly where I want to be. So is he. Trust me. All right, let me open the door for him so he can get up. Wow, okay, I'm realizing now how much fantasy I need to catch up on. This next one I discussed super briefly in my last video. It's the reason why I read the Divine Comedy. It is Katabasis by R.F. Kuang, the woman who gave us Babel and the Poppy Wars, a trusted source of dark academia and magic systems that don't override the characters or their stories. All I know about this story is that it follows two academic rivals who venture into the underworld so they might get a letter of recommendation from their late advisor. When I heard that premise, I thought it was the funniest, most brilliant thing in the world. One of those ideas where you're just upset you didn't think of it yourself. That happens a lot where R.F. Kuang is considered. I'm sure this book is going to be filled with layered nuance and sharp as hell characters who are deeply driven with elements of magic I can't wait to just get lost in. I'm particularly interested in seeing Kuang's depiction of the descent into the underworld from her academic perspective. What references she might choose to make and correlations she brings forth in her interpretation of the Divine Comedy. Hopefully I'm not overhyping this one too much in my head, but I have a feeling this is going to be a 5-star read for me, just right here. Also, I'm so glad I got like a pretty version it's just so pretty. It's so interesting. There's so much to look at. And just look at her. Just look at her. Do you see her? I love her. It's a hell of a story. I can't wait. This next one is the only title on today's list where I'm actually not familiar with the author's work at all. A Fate Inked in Blood by Daniel L. Jensen. This was entirely an impulse buy. I had never heard of this author or this title. I literally judged the book by its cover and was glad for it once it was delivered to my door and I read the blurb in the jacket. Apparently this is high-stakes fantasy, Norse mythology. It's got prophecy and brutal immersive world building with political intrigue and even some romance. I mean, I could have probably gathered that by the title and cover design, but all I thought when I saw it was, ooh, pretty. Add to cart. I have high hopes for this author since I have seen a few reviews and have heard nothing but good things about this book, so I'm determined to get to it sooner rather than later. This cover, I just absolutely love it. I don't know, like the eyes, the hand, the face, the hair, the asymmetrical design of the hair and the background, like I think it's a great cover. I usually don't like when there's faces on the cover, but this face, look at her face. Who are you? All right, now it's time for the one I've been avoiding so long, I've even been avoiding it during this video. Assassin's Blade by Sarah J. Maas. As mentioned in my previous video, I read the first 3 books in the Throne of Glass series, and I'm pretty positive I'm supposed to read this one next. It's not that long. I understand it's a prequel and more of a compilation of short stories rather than a standard narrative. I could be wrong, and no, I don't want to look it up because I don't want spoilers. You know how hard it's been to avoid spoilers about this series? I'm surprised I've made it this long. I was genuinely confused in the beginning since our main character was not who I expected them to be, and I was like, oh, and then, oh, I get it. Oh, what? So, yeah, I hope that what I just did wasn't a spoiler, but anyway, yes, I intend to read the rest of the series, not just Assassin's Blade, but we need to restart from somewhere, and this is that where. So, I just know it's gonna hurt, you know? And as much as I enjoy hurting myself, it doesn't mean I have to like it, right? That didn't make any sense. I'm gonna move on. This one, I want to read this one. Moving on. Okay. The City and Its Uncertain Walls by Haruki Murakami. Now, I don't need any convincing where Murakami is concerned. I mean, I read 1Q84. Say what you will about this man and how much he misrepresents and just simply misplaces women in his stories, I don't expect perfection from him. I expect to be taken to a place just beyond this one. A reality that may only exist on the other side of a foggy mirror at 2 a.m., where everything is just a bit distorted to the left, where light bends in unexpected directions. This is a hefty book. And perhaps that's part of, oh dear, spooky. And perhaps that's part of why it's been sitting on my shelf for so long. To read Murakami, you have to be ready to step into a dream-like state and accept reality as he hands it to you. You have to be prepared to get lost, not just as a female reader, but along with the protagonist too. And I can't wait to get lost. It's my slogan, after all. I'm gonna get lost and just keep reading it. Okay. And last on this list is my ride or die, Stephen King with Never Flinch. Like with most of the titles on today's list, I don't know a thing about this story except for the fact that it's long, it's horror, and it's King. That's all I need to know, really. Am I silently dreading the political commentary that might be between these pages, ready to be shoved down my throat? A little. I mean, I push through it nonetheless because it's King, and he's my guy. But I am praying he's just done with the COVID references in this one. Based on the book blurb, this is supposed to be reminiscent of The Outsider or Mr. Mercedes. Detective-esque horror with familiar characters like that of Holly Gibney, one of my favorite quirky / probably autistic detectives. And just a side note, if you haven't seen the adaptation of The Outsider on HBO, I highly recommend it. Cynthia Erivo plays Holly Gibney, and it's just absolutely perfectly cast. No notes. It's great. All right, there you have it. 10 titles on my TBR I can't wait to get off my shelves and into my brain for long-term storage. I do plan on reading more than 10 books this year. It's just, these are the ones I'm particularly excited about. This is also not to mention books I know are going to be coming out this year too, which will probably take precedent upon their release, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there, right? As you may have guessed, I've been experimenting a bit with this channel, seeing what works and what doesn't, what I want to make and what I don't. If you're interested in helping this channel at all affiliate links for the books discussed today are in the description below, as well as my book. Where is it? I forgot to bring it. As well as my book, Dancing with Strangers, which I think you should probably totally put on your TBR shelf, especially if you're into contemporary romance with open door spice set on a Spanish island with family drama, horseback riding, yachts, and a looming wedding week. Our main characters are determined not to destroy. I think I've read this book about 200 times, and I still feel weird saying that I wrote it. It's available everywhere that you buy books, including Amazon, Kobo, Barnes & Noble, all of them. Kindle, ebook, paperback, and I'm working on more, I promise. Also, if you'd like to join our email list, my author website is linked below where you can join there and get notified. Maybe I'll be sending emails out when new things happen or when I post stuff or when I'm ready to have like beta readers or ARCs for the next project, you know? Just if you want to stay in the loop. All right, thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to like this video if you liked it and subscribe if you're not. We're on the road to 5,000, which sounds like a lot and very little at the same time, but I'm going with it. Today's shout out goes to Caitlin Brown 6167. Despite your amazingly encouraging words, I think I'll be keeping the gym and real life stuff a bit separate. After giving it a bit of thought, if I truly intend on growing this channel, and I do, sticking to the niche of books and writing content is crucial, so I might just start vlogging other things on a separate channel, so just stay tuned. Okay, I'm off to make an ambitious 10-book stack on my bedside table as a nightly reminder of this goal. Keep me accountable. Stay lost, keep reading. Goodbye. A Fate Inked in Blood by Danielle L. Jensen. Danielle L. Jensen. Danielle L. Jensen. Danielle L. Jensen. I'm sorry. I don't, okay.